Hello, what's going on guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to make a video about Milan's summer transfer ratings. Didn't have a chance to make a video earlier when the transfer window closed, but now I'm going to make this video and give my final say especially after Jovic arrived as well. So let's get into this. The first transfer, let's start with Marco Sportiello. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's a transfer from Atalanta. He's a goalkeeper, obviously, and I think I haven't watched much of him, and I think from what I've seen, he's better than Cyprian Tatarusanu, and I think he's a good backup. Obviously, very far from what Mike Maignan is, but yeah, if I would rate this transfer, I would probably go with a solid 6, maybe 6.5, 6.5. The reason why I'm going with 6.5 is mainly because I want to maintain a balance of having a good second goalkeeper for what the purpose of the second goalkeeper is. So we know that the second goalkeeper is not expected to be as good as your first goalkeeper or to a very high level. So I think that's very important to consider when we do these ratings. So that's why I would go with 6.5, even though I think he's average. If you put him as your first goalkeeper, he's average and not Milan level, but as a second goalkeeper, 6.5 I think is reasonable. So my rating for Marco Sportiello is 6.5. Let's continue with Luka Romero, another free transfer from Lazio. He's an attacking midfielder slash winger. He scored a great goal on the match against Real Madrid on preseason. He has some good runs. His body language reminds me a bit of Brahim Diaz, maybe not as technical as he is, and maybe a bit physically stronger, but he's young. I think, yeah, he is 18 years old, and he has a good potential. I think he is a good backup, especially for Coppa Italia or for games when we want to rest our best players, or for games let's say on Champions League. Even though we are in the group of that, let's say we get to out of the group on the first 4 matches, and the last 2 matches you want to rest players for Serie A or something. Luka Romero is a very decent option to bring from the bench. So with Luka Romero, I would go with a 7. Still here, just the same with Marco Sportiello, considering the fact that we didn't bought him to be on the first team. We bought him to come from the bench and to be to be a good player that strengthens our squad depth. So Luka Romero, my rating for him is 7. Let's continue with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, potentially one of the best signings of this summer, amongst the best signings, definitely. I didn't expect a lot from him, especially after the underwhelming feeling when Tonali left. We got Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so I don't think he was that kind of exciting signing after Tonali, but I think he's what we need. He's not like Frank Kessie in the way he plays, but his attributes are very similar to Frank Kessie, and he brings those kind of attributes that we used to have in our Scudetto season. with Frank Kessie in the midfield. So I think that's a very important thing that Ruben Loftus-Cheek brings us to our midfield. He's a very good midfielder. And how I would rank these summer signings for Milan is very good, good, and average. And at the end, I will go over all the transfers again and just count which players are very good signings, which players are good signings, and which players are average signings. And this is based on what we have seen so far. We don't know. Maybe Yunus Musah will be a world-class player for us. You never know with football, but we're talking about now. So Ruben Loftus-Cheek, definitely what we needed in midfield. Such a good player, brings us a lot of different kind of attributes and the strength that we need in midfield. And I think if he's able to stay fit, if he's able to be physically capable to maintain his performances consistently during the entire season, I think he's more than capable. I think he's more than enough and good for this Milan team, especially to be on the first team. And I hope to see him keep this standard and keep this kind of performances during the end of the season, especially in the tough times when we come in May or April, those kind of months, those kind of more tricky months when you kind of see where you will be at the end of the season based on those 2 months performances. Will you be in the Champions League? Will you be even lower, or will you compete for titles? Those are the most crucial months. So I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek still to be seen when it comes to long term, when it comes to a full season, but so far he's been one of our best players and I'm very happy with him. With Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I would go 8.5. 8.5, definitely. Now, what I consider a 9 or a 10, first of all, a 10, I consider a superstar signing, like the signing that you know that you are transferring him and you know what you will get from him, and it's like 100% assured. Like the signing type of Haaland, Mbappe, these kind of signings are 10 out of 10 because you know what you will get. You won't be disappointed. Those kind of players are 10 out of 10 players. Then 9 is a player that maybe has had a very world-class season, but has done it for like 1 season. Let me have an example. I think Declan Rice, for example, for Arsenal, he's a 9 out of 10 signing. I'm not including like the price here. I'm just talking about the player in isolation. I think a Declan Rice signing, for example, would be a 9 out of 10 because you know what you will get from him, and you know that he's almost world class. I wouldn't call him world class, but you know what you will get from him, and you know that he's a very good player. And below 9, you enter the area where a little bit of skepticism arises. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek is one of those cases. You know that he is a good player. You know that he has the potential. You have seen him. Your eye test hasn't disappointed you. But with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, you are always cautious when it comes to injuries, when it comes to consistency, and this kind of stuff. So that makes it an 8.5 out of 10. Especially because we yet haven't played that many games. We still are in the beginning part of the season, even though he has performed very good. So my player rating for Ruben Loftus-Cheek is 8.5. Just to mention, he's a 16 million player plus 4 million in bonuses transfer from Chelsea. Is a 27-year-old player, so it's a decent transfer fee, a very good player. And let's hope the best. Okay, let's continue with Christian Pulisic. Okay. Now, Christian Pulisic for me was even more underwhelming than Ruben Loftus-Cheek when we got him, because Christian Pulisic, in difference and in comparison to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he hasn't performed that much, you know. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, you have seen good performances from him. His consistency wasn't there, but you have seen. But Christian Pulisic was not that case. Christian Pulisic was a very good player that had it in him, but you were just not seeing him, seeing it in his performances. Like, he had some really shitty performances in Chelsea, and he was looking very bad, very bad. Not like even a glimpse of what he was in Dortmund. So we transferred him for 20 million plus 3 million in bonuses. It's a permanent transfer deal, just like with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's oh my god, he's a 24-year-old player. He looks so much older. But yeah, his age is really good, to be honest. For that transfer fee, yeah, his age is really good. But I would rate him an 8. Not as high as Ruben Loftus-Cheek, even though he scored in the first 2 games. I said it in a previous video. His performances were a bit overrated from people's reactions. He played good in the Bologna game, but in the second game he just scored a goal. He didn't do as much. In the Roma game he was completely quiet besides the chance that he had. So people are going a bit overboard with the reaction of how Christian Pulisic played. I mean, he played okay, he played good. He was quiet most of the time, so yeah. Christian Pulisic, an 8 out of 10. That is very good as well. That is a very good signing. I'm still very cautious with him. I'm still not sure, just like with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if he will not be injured and he will keep the consistency and be present, play games during most of the season. We have to take care of him. We have to take care of him, especially now that we have Chukwueze in the right side. We have cover. We have Luka Romero. We have also Okafor. So yeah, Christian Pulisic needs to be taken care of. I'm talking like he's a very old player. He's actually not, but it's just his physically he's not a very strong player, so he can get injured quite easily. So yeah, Christian Pulisic, 8 out of 10, very good signing. Let's move on. Tijjani Reijnders. I don't know if it's pronounced Tijjani or Tijjani, but let's go with Tijjani Reijnders. A permanent transfer, 20 million. It's a fucking bargain, man. Plus 5 million in bonuses, 25. He's a class player. I think, I haven't done like a full list, or I don't have a full list in my mind or something, but I think he's on the top 5 of bargains this summer in the entire world, especially in Europe, amongst big clubs. He's a bargain. He's such a good player. I was watching his I was watching his videos of him before, like compilations and stuff. But I was very happy with what I was seeing, because I was like, still, oh, okay, let's wait, because compilations can make a very average player look world class sometimes. Because compilations are designed and shaped to highlight a player's best moments, and you can do that with any player. Like even with non-professional footballers, you can do that and make them look world class, because everybody has moments. Uh, anyway, Tijjani Reijnders, after I saw him play in preseason first and in seasons games as well that we had, I'm very happy with him. He's like his pass accuracy, his energy, his good injury record, everything about him is, yeah, it just feels very good to have him in the midfield with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I think that we have more than filled that gap after after Tonali left. So yeah, I'm very happy with Tijjani Reijnders. And guys, I think this will be my highest rating. And yeah, I would. Yeah, I actually this would be with Ruben Loftus-Cheek my highest rating. So I'm rating Tijjani Reijnders, and I'm giving an 8.5 to him as well, just like with Ruben. I think those were our best chances from what we have seen so far. So let's hope he continues with these performances. I have a lot of optimism that he will get even better playing in Pioli's system. I have a lot of optimism that he will improve his game in a big club and a better league and playing Champions League and everything, you know. I think he will improve a lot. And I hope I'm right, because it looks very promising. I'm very happy with this signing. In my eyes, maybe he can go to a 9, but I won't give a 9 for this summer, because I have high standards to, especially in the modern game, to give ratings of 9 or 10 for players that come to AC Milan. So 8.5 with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tijjani Reijnders as well. I think they are our best signings. Let's continue with Noah Okafor. Permanent transfer, 14 million. Good price. He's a left winger / forward. He's a 23-year-old. So as you can also see, we have bought a lot of youngsters, and we have a strong core of youth in our team. And I had a lot of good expectations, kind of, you know, for Noah Okafor, because I have seen him last year play. I've seen him for Salzburg, because we had Salzburg in our group. I've seen him for Salzburg. I think we played Salzburg even like in last season's pre-season games, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw him there as well. I'm not sure if I think we played Köln, not Salzburg. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we played Köln anyway. But I've seen Noah Okafor for Switzerland as well. I've seen him a bit in a World Cup. He's a good player, and I've seen that he has very good potential, and I was very happy to sign him, especially with him being like a replacement for Giroud. But unfortunately, it seems like Giroud is still our first striker, and he will still be our main striker. And with Noah Okafor, I see him more as a replacement for Rafael Leao or even Christian Pulisic in the wing. Because I see Luka Jovic, to be honest, replace Oliver Giroud. But anyway, we come to that later. But when it comes to Noah Okafor, I think Yeah, I'm a bit underwhelmed to be honest with this signing. I'm a bit underwhelmed. I think he's a good signing, but I'm not sure the minutes he will, how many minutes he will have during this season, and how many opportunities he will have to gel with this team, to merge in the system, to be a part of this team, you know, because it's not an excuse that he's a substitute for playing good or gelling with the team, because Man City does that. Players that come from the bench of Man City, you don't even notice the difference because it's the same system. It's the player is gelled with the team, understands the system and everything. So I'm a bit worried with Noah Okafor in when it comes to this, because I still hasn't seen something from him. I know what he has, and I know when I see glimpses, but glimpses, you can see glimpses in compilations, you know, YouTube videos, highlights, player highlights. We don't need glimpses here. He needs to show more than a glimpse. And there's no pressure on him. He's a 14 million signing, so of course there's no pressure, but as a fan and as a supporter and as a football analyst and as a football lover, I kind of have this take and have this opinion, and I can see it a bit different when it comes to a transfer. I don't see it a lot with a price and everything. I don't care a lot about those stuff, to be honest. Those stuff are very impactful and put a lot of pressure on players and everything else when it comes to psychology. But Noah Okafor, I think with him, I still haven't seen something, so I'm still waiting to see how he will gel in this 2023-2024 AC Milan team, how he will be part of the team. And that's cool, he has the time, but I that's why I kind of went on with this speech, because it all relates to my rating as well, because my rating is still a bit blurry because I haven't seen much from him, you know. Now, considering from what I've seen from him before, consider putting that together with what I've seen with Noah Okafor for Milan preseason, during this season a bit when he came from the bench. For now, I would go with a 7, because I think, you know, let's not do this. Let's go with 7.5s, because I rated Luka Romero 7. I rated Sportiello 6.5. So I would go with 7.5 to Noah Okafor, because I think he's a great bench option. Even though he hasn't shown much yet, I think it's good to have that kind of player instead of a Salamakers or a Messias. So I expect him to do better than those two players, and I expect him to have some big moments this season as well. So yeah, 7.5 for Noah Okafor. Very happy with this signing as well. Still expecting to see something, but I am optimistic that it will come. At least I hope so. Samuel Chukwueze. Permanent transfer again, 20 million transfer, very good price. 8 million in bonuses, 28. Right winger from Villarreal, typical Yoga Bonito player. He has that salsa, he has that sauce, you know. He has that what Brazilian do have, even though he's Nigerian. He's a 24-year-old player, still young. I am very happy with his signing. I expected him to be our starter when he first came, but now uh, it seems like it will be a bit challenge for him, and this is a positive because you want to make players feel uncomfortable in the sense that they cannot just sit and be very comfortable in their position and know that they will start every game or they will play on the first team all the time, because when they don't have that, it will push them to do more on training to show to show more effort for the coach, and to do more also when they come off the bench. And this will also put pressure on the player that is already playing on the first team, for example Pulisic. And this is a good thing overall for the team to have strength in depth, and Chukwueze is exactly the player that we need to do that, especially considering the fact that of all the wingers that we signed, Chukwueze is a very, very good player. Hopefully, let's hope he's not a Charles de Ketelaere, because Charles CDK Charles de Ketelaere he's not a bad player. He's a very good player. He also showing in Atalanta, but pressure got to him and he wasn't just gelling. So Chukwueze, I hope that's not the case with him as well, because just the same with CDK, I think Chukwueze is a very talented player. I think considering Pulisic performances last season with Chelsea, I was expecting Chukwueze to be in the front three in the start of the season with Leao and Giroud, and I think that's a very scary front three, to be honest, if Chukwueze is on his element, how he's seen him be in Villarreal. But right now he has to work hard, he has to earn his position, he has to earn his place, he has to do more when he comes off the bench. We saw him against Bologna and against Torino and against Roma as well. He played well, but he was silent. I think he's being instructed from Pioli to get back to defend more. You are seeing him work hard, just like with Okafor, and this is a good thing to see. But I don't want to talk about those stuff, especially with an attacking player of the kind of Chukwueze that is all about dribbling, all about excitement, all about making you stand up on your feet and just waiting something to happen. That Leao aura, that Leao energy. So I think Chukwueze is exactly what we needed on the right wing to do that, to bring that to the team. He's typically a right winger. He's not like a Pulisic that is a left winger playing on the right. So I love the fact that we have signed him, considering the fact that he hasn't done much this season, but he is a good player that has a good history. We have seen him do a lot. We have seen him cook. We have seen him play in the Champions League semi-final with Villarreal against Liverpool. So he's not afraid also of the big stage. I think considering all these facts, but also the fact that he still hasn't performed for us, I would rate him an 8. I think I would rate him a bit higher than Okafor, because he has the potential to be one of our best signings of the summer, amongst Pulisic and Loftus-Cheek. No, sorry, Tijjani Reijnders and not Loftus-Cheek. So, because I rated Pulisic an 8, yeah. Yep. So with Chukwueze, I would go with an 8 as well. Pulisic is, to be honest, the 8 is a bit stronger. But why both of them have 8s is because Pulisic last season didn't perform well, while Chukwueze performed very well. But this season with Milan, Pulisic is performing well, and Chukwueze hasn't shown a lot yet, but he hasn't started games. So there is a balance, and I think both of them deserve an 8, because when you balance all of those stuff, it kind of is an equal rating. So Samuel Chukwueze, my rating for him is an 8. Let's move on to Yunus Musah. Now, also with Yunus Musah, when I saw like highlights and compilations and everything, I was very excited. He is more of a player with similar attributes as Kessie has than Loftus-Cheek is. Also positionally, also with his runs, also the strength and everything, physicality. But with Yunus Musah, we have to see more of him play. He hasn't had a lot of minutes, and this is not his fault. It's just a manager's choice. I cannot say anything about his very small minutes for this season, so that's why I'm just going to rate him as a signing without taking into account what is happening this season, because he still hasn't had that chance to show and stand out for himself. But from what he has done in Valencia and from what I personally think, I would rate him just like Noah Okafor, 7.5. Yeah, this is how I would rate him, because I think he's a very good bench player that has a potential to be in the first team if he shows the performances that we have seen him show in Valencia. He's a very strong player. He was born, I think, in Italy, and he knows Italian. He's 20-year-old player, so he has a lot of time on his hands. He's an 18 million plus 3 million in bonuses signing, which the price is good also for that age. A lot of potential, very good signing, especially taking into consideration that we were competing with in the direct competition with Inter to sign him, and we won in comparison, in difference that we wasn't able to win with Marcus Thuram, but that's a discussion for another day. But with Yunus Musah, I'm very happy as a signing, and I'm very excited to see what we'll have from what he will bring to us. And I don't have a lot of expectations with him. He's young, and he's coming to AC Milan, and you could see him kind of against Torino and San Siro. He was a bit emotional in the game. He was playing with excitement, so I think he still needs to get adapted to an environment of a big club, playing in a big club. He needs to like raise his confidence, and I think he will do very well as at the moment that he gets comfortable in being here and starting games as well, and being that key part, one of the key parts of AC Milan's midfield. Marco Pellegrino. Okay, he's a signing just like with Yunus Musah, obviously, that we haven't seen anything actually. With Yunus Musah we have seen a bit in AC Milan shirt, but with Marco Pellegrino we haven't seen it yet. He's a 3 million plus 2 million in bonuses, like 5 million signing, so it's the fee is like, it feels like there is no fee as well. It feels like it's a free signing. He came from Platense, I think a team in Argentina, if I'm not mistaken. He's from Argentina himself. He's a center back. Now as well, we Mateo Gabbia, our bench defender that went to loan to Villarreal, we had to replace him, and Marco Pellegrino was the replacement. And I am happy that he's a permanent transfer as well, because I don't expect him to start games this season. just only if it's like a Coppa Italia game or something that we're playing like with a Serie B team or something like that. Yeah, but or if we're winning a game like 4-5-0 in Serie A, and you can see him have some minutes, but I don't expect him to play a lot, and that's totally fine. He's 21-year-old midfielder, highly rated in Argentina. He could become an important player in the future, and I think it is good scouting from what it looks like, and seeing like highlights of him. He looks very confident. He looks very agile. Very. I'm not sure if I'm said the correct word, but he's very assertive, and he's not afraid. He's like a Sergio Ramos type of defender, with that kind of energy, with that kind of aura. Obviously, I'm not comparing him to Sergio Ramos, obviously, but like the playing style is a bit similar to that. So Marco Pellegrino, just like with Sportiello, 6.5. I cannot say anything more about that, to be honest. It looks good, but we still haven't seen anything. And the last one, let me see if I haven't missed any. Yep, the last one is Luka Jovic, the Serbian striker from Fiorentina. So I think this was a loan, right? Yeah, I think it's a 1-year contract with an additional of 1 to 2 years. This signing was also underwhelming because during the entire summer we were expecting to get like a player like Taremi, who could actually be our first team striker. We wasn't expecting Giroud to be the first team striker for this season as well. That's kind of I'm not happy with that. So we ended up not being able to find the striker. Like the negotiations with Taremi collapsed. It was the end of the summer transfer. We didn't know what to do, and we failed like to sign other strikers. So we didn't have any targets for the number 9 role, and we just went from Luka Jovic. Look, now if you are getting the Frankfurt Luka Jovic, that's a different conversation. Then you can say, oh, okay, he can play it. He can be the starter in front of Giroud. But he hasn't showed that in Real Madrid. He hasn't showed that in Fiorentina. It has been a lot of years that you haven't seen that from him. He's a good striker, but that's just good. That's not something more than that. So with Luka Jovic, to be honest, I would go with a 7. The reason why I wouldn't go with a 6.5 is because obviously he's a better bench player than Sportiello or Pellegrino. So yeah, 7.5, something like that. Yeah. He hasn't played yet, so I don't even care to fully decide on if it's a 7 or 7.5, but yeah, just a very underwhelming signing overall. He will be the substitute for Giroud. I didn't want that. I wanted Taremi. And that was the only flaw from our recruiters, and that was the only like dissatisfaction that I had from the summer window. The biggest dissatisfaction, maybe not the only, but the biggest one, not signing a first team worthy striker, number 9. So yeah, Luka Jovic 7 or 7.5, doesn't matter. Yeah, when it comes to very good, and average players, Marco Sportiello, I think he was. Let's just start with very good. A very good player is Tijjani Reijnders, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and I would add there. Yeah, Tijjani Reijnders and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I would keep these two in very good signings. Good signings. Christian Pulisic, no Okafor, Samuel Chukwueze, Yunus Musah, and Luka Romero for the age he has. Average signings: Marco Sportiello, Luka Jovic, Marco Pellegrino, and did I leave anyone? No, I didn't leave anyone. So these are the average signings. And finally, my rating for the entire window for every summer transfer from our recruiters would be an 8. I think in balance that's good. That's a good enough transfer window, and I think in balance is also a good enough rating, and it kind of relates to every transfer that we had, because we didn't have a world-class player coming in, but we had very good players and and also some average players there. But yeah, 8 my overall rating for our signings. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. These were my ratings for the summer transfer window of AC Milan. Let me know your ratings in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.